I want to know, so you got this shop, it's beautiful and it's going really well for you. How do you plan to expand in the future? What's kind of the future plans of the Hookah Haus brand?
All right, guys, the coals are on. Welcome back to the Sunday Smoke. This is episode number 29. As you'll see, I'm doing a little solo recording. Unfortunately, Jackson's got work today, but I've got a big guest on today. He's making his second appearance on the podcast. We have Mr. Andrew Elias, owner of Hookah Haus. How you going, mate?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me back here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. The first episode was very well received. The first time you came on. A lot of wise words that you said, and we're happy to have you back on this podcast.
Well, thanks for coming back here, man. More importantly, thank you for showing up for the community, man. Really appreciate your work.
Yeah, like a lot has happened since we came on. I believe it was episode 11. A lot's gone down here in Hookah Haus.
Oh man.
Look, I'm going to leave it open to you. From when we last spoke on this podcast, we did ask you the question, what's next for Hookah Haus?
Yeah.
And I think you definitely answered that question over the last few months. So where has Hookah Haus gone?
Where has Hookah Haus gone? Man, and the last 6 months has been probably the most challenging last 6 months that the business has ever faced. A lot of people have words to say about different people who run businesses, but they don't know what it takes to actually do it behind the scenes, get things ready, get people excited, keep them enticed, build a community. So there's honestly been so many things that has happened, from where we last kept off to where we are today. And it's been a blessing in disguise. The best way to look at it was when we first opened up Hookah Haus, our goal was to eventually bring out our own tobacco. That was the main focus, because we're like, you can sell the parts, you can sell the machines, you can sell the setups. What's everything without the main ingredient, the petrol, the thing that makes everything go? Yeah. So for us, we've been trying for the better half of 3 years trying to get it. And it's been a lot of applications, a lot of meetings, a lot of explanations, and it's just a whole big merry-go-round. No one's really, ready to give you the right answers that you're seeking.
Yes.
And for us, eventually how it came into part was we eventually found a brand that we had loved, and rather than trying to build our own brand and create its awareness and get people to try it, we thought we could just leverage off another brand that has already done it.
Yep.
And that's the label that's around your neck. That's the label.
You can see on the screen there.
That's Tabaku, baby.
Tabaku.
So yeah, it's been phenomenal. It's honestly been a blessing in disguise. And big shout out to you, Ryan, if you're watching, man. Love your work and really appreciate who you are. You've done tremendous things, and I'm only excited to see what's coming next. There's a lot of cool things in the pipeline.
We love Ryan.
We love Ryan. Yeah, he's a champion, man. Go check him out.
Absolute legend, gentleman. He's the scientist in the partnership that you've got going on here. Yeah,
definitely. I always describe Ryan to be like a scientific archetype. You talk to him scientifically when he talks about tobacco and understanding it. Just some of the information and stuff that he's told me and informed me on has just changed the way I look at it forever. So a really big shout out to you, Ryan. So we tried to get the license over and over again. Then, I caught up with Ryan, a few times. I was actually in the area. I was actually buying flavor, funny enough. And I remember walking past his shop, and it always smells amazing in there. Have you been there?
Yes.
It always smells like bubblegum for some reason. For some reason, you can smell bubblegum down the road. I asked him if it was intentionally done that way, and he just said, no, it's just the smell that some of the aromas emit. So that's the one thing that got me hooked, almost like Lamono or El Jana, the chicken smell in the air.
Smell nice charcoal chicken.
That just gets everyone hungry,
Beautiful. Yeah.
So I walk in, and he's got a big smile on his face. He's like, Andy. And I'm like, fuck, you never remembered my name. This is crazy. He's like, Andy, come in. He goes, do you want a coffee? And I'm like, oh.
And you're big on that, remembering people's names.
Big time.
People person.
Big time. Yeah, the customer experience and even just remembering someone's name when they walk through the door can create such a sense of like family. You know what I mean? Like your family remembers your name, not someone you buy shisha products off. So it just creates a really good relationship from the get-go. And I think customers really love that because they come in, I call them by their first names, and you got to see the smiles that come on their face because nothing is sweeter than someone's first name.
When you hear your first name, that's my name.
That's your name. That's your name. So I walked into the shop and I'm sitting down with Ryan. He goes, do you want a coffee? And I'm like, you know what? I've got like 2 hours before the next meeting. I'll have a coffee with you. Why not? Let's sit down. And he's got this, like, if you go into his showroom, it's beautiful. If you actually ever ask him about his showroom, he actually built everything.
Yeah.
Everything's recycled. So he's a visionary sort of guy, and that's someone that I just love, like having a conversation with. Because it's one thing to have an idea for a business, it's another to then execute, put yourself out there, actually build the vision that you're seeing, you know? So we sit down in his room and he's got these like coffee brown leather couches. Sit down, they're nice and comfy. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, I'll take an almond piccolo. He goes next door, gets a fresh coffee for you. And you sit down and you start to have a conversation. You know, he's like, how's business? How's everything going? And at the time, like, whatever, at the time, it's still current now, we're still facing just supply chain issues. You know, you had COVID, which is still having an everlasting impact on a lot of businesses around the world.
Of course.
And then you're having, I remember this vividly. We had a container of Russian shishas and accessories. A container, this is like the biggest possible amount of stuff you can get in a container.
Yeah.
Filled to the brim, you name it, man. Mouthpieces, silicone hoses, you know, grommets, shishas, bowls, accessories, everything.
Yeah.
Like 2 days out before the war was officially announced on TV.
Yeah.
And that sanctions were blocked and getting stuff out was going to be mission impossible. So getting stock has definitely been one of the challenges for us.
And that's been something that's been a challenge for you since you opened. You know, everything started off hot. They can't see on the screen now, but it's just, you're just selling so much stuff and just waiting for stuff to come in.
Yeah.
So just a vicious cycle.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like we got a small German delivery last week, and it was maybe 8 Viros and maybe about 7 or 8 WDs. There's 3 WDs left.
Yeah.
In a matter of a week. So I think definitely people enjoy coming here, getting the experience. And most of all, we cater to what people are looking for as opposed to selling them what they think they want. I think that was the big thing that we touched on in the last episode. So yeah, sitting down with Ryan, you know, how's business? I'm like, you know, it's all right. You know, we're just surviving, you know, like thank God we got other businesses that are helping us pay the rent because, you know, things have slowed down and we just got to stay optimistic. I'm all for controlling the controllables. You know, if I can't control it, I don't get upset by it. So you just got to keep showing up, and
That's right.
That's the most important thing. And then it's funny because when I first met Ryan, he walked into the showroom. And he's got 4 packets in his hands, and he's like, you know, hello, my name is Ryan. I'm from Tabaku. This is my brand, and you know, I gave you these samples. And I'm like, oh, mad, you know, samples. Yeah, I'm all for samples.
Everyone loves a sample.
Who doesn't like samples of flavor, man? I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So he drops off some flavors. They were Leka Leka, which is the predecessor to Creamy Apple.
Yep.
So it didn't used to have apple. It just used to be caramel and vanilla. He gave me African Queen, Blueberry Mint, and Ice Bonbon. And at the time, I'm like, if you're going to give samples to someone, do some homework around what the flavors they like. Because those flavors were not my jam at the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, he came in, he's like, this is my brand, yada, yada. And he's like, what bowl do you think will be perfect for my brand?
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm like, I've never heard of this brand. It's like completely from scratch that he's made it. And just by looking at it, I'm like, okay, it looks a bit leafy, looks a bit juicy. It needs like a wide trench. Like it needs to be wide enough to house it and deep enough to hold the juice of the brand. So I gave him, I think it was a Hookah John Harmony bowl, glazed, so he could change. It was big enough for him to have a decent session.
Yeah.
Funny enough, to this day, he still has those bowls. You know what I mean? And then he's like, my wife likes coal on top, like no heat managers. You know, what bowl would you recommend for her? And I said, oh, it's got to be an Alpaca Symphony because it's, you know, thin enough where you can just have a short session, but it has that little gauge on top to prevent the foil drag.
Yeah, no foil
so that way she
drag.
can have a short session and you know, she can have like a 45-minute hour session on a little bit of flavor and try it.
Yeah, I love that bowl. I've still got it at home. Yeah.
To this day, she has it. You know what I mean? They have it. And he's retained that information. I'm like, man, this guy's something else. You know, there's something else to him.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he came in, he bought the bowls. We tried the flavor. First thing I do is whenever I find a new brand or anything like that is I'll go on the internet and I'll type in the brand and try to see if someone's packed it on YouTube before or what the best way to go about it is, because it's not like if there's no information out there, you're literally guessing how to go about it. And the first time I did it, I did my usual routine with everything. I remember it burnt in the first maybe 20 minutes. And secretly, I'll admit this on this podcast, secretly, because he had the license and I didn't have it, that was part of the reason why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There was hate. There was hate there because at that time, when I first met him, I was 6 months in.
Yeah.
And man, if I showed you my office at home, there's paperwork everywhere, man. There's like articles I'm reading and past suitcases and best ways to go about approaching it. And like there's border force documents and there's like national health documents that you got to read. And I'm just reading, and then I've got a Word document of all my points, of all the things I've got to make mentions of. And yeah, it was just, that was sort of the reason as well. But anyway, I tried it, burnt the first time. Andrew, my business partner's like, just give it another go, try again.
Yeah.
I tried it again, it burnt again the second time, and then that was it for me. Like I closed the door.
In your head, it was like maybe perhaps you're like, it's not that good. It's not all flash. Which I think was a common consensus with when tobacco first came to market.
Yeah.
Just no one knew how to pack it properly.
No one knew how to pack it properly. Yeah, no one. It was just, I think when he launched into the market, he was assuming that we would understand how to pack it.
Yep.
There was also the old formula that he had, and that's where he had the leaf itself and the juice itself, and then you had to mix it. But my understanding of that is the less work you can give to your customer with the end product, the more they're going to enjoy the session.
100%.
Buying something that's deconstructed and then giving them instructions to follow. Like if I buy flavor, I want to try it.
Yeah.
I want to rip it. I want to pack a bowl right now and rip those big, beautiful clouds.
Absolutely.
I don't want to have to buy it and then let it set and everything. So when we were talking about his old formula and all this sort of stuff, because we never got to have that conversation. Once we ruled out that we didn't want anything to do with it, we just sort of that was it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that honesty coming on this podcast.
Oh,
You could
man.
easily just say, we love the product from the start. But, I think that it's important to be very transparent. Very transparent whenever you bring any product to market. It's good, that kind of honesty, because it resonates well with the audience that are listening now.
For sure.
It didn't resonate with us at the time.
Yeah.
But then in the future, once you've got to be educated on the product.
I think the biggest thing is the education.
Yeah.
After me and Ryan started meeting up a few times, and I'm like, I put him on the spot. I put a camera right in front of him, and I did a bird's eye view, and then I got Andrew to record another side angle, because this is the guy who created the brand, so therefore he should know exactly how to pack it.
Yes.
And I'm like, Ryan, I need you to show me exactly how you do it, because I just need to know if we're gonna go all in on this.
Yes.
Because the original goal was, once we got the license, have our own brand, and that's the only brand we represent.
Yeah.
Because master one brand, and that's all we need to master. Do you know what I mean? There's so much variety. We'll get into that, but that was originally the goal.
Yeah.
So it was just it's crazy now, even just reflecting on it, to see how far we've come just from those initial conversations. So he packs the bowl.
Yes.
He packs the bowl. I record it. We get it cranking. I'm like, this is unbelievable. And then he said to me, he pulled out a dummy bowl that he already packed. If you go to his shop, he's got all these bowls that are already pre-packed.
Okay.
So he pulled out a dummy bowl, pre-packed.
Yep.
And he's like, here's the problem when you foil it after you've packed the bowl. And I'm like, okay.
Yes.
And he goes, because the tobacco leaf is really thin, once you poke the hole, the poker goes down, it actually picks up the leaf and splashes it underneath. Now, because of the nature of the product being a little bit more wet than usual, it's going to lead to the burnt taste. Yeah. And that to me was a light bulb moment, because the first things I did when I first got the brand was do that.
Yeah, because that's what we're all accustomed to doing. You pack your bowl, fluff pack, heavy pack, whatever you prefer. And then after that, you just poke your holes, you put your heat manager on there, or you just put your coals on, and that's it. You're ready to go. This one, you have to do it before.
You have to do it before. That's why we're looking for a pre-poked foil. And to be completely transparent, we haven't found a good brand that, the brand that we're using here is good, but it tears very easily.
Yeah.
And the problem we're facing is that pre-poked foil, in order for it to be a harder, a better thickness in the microns, is that it's harder to do it with all the holes that are already in it. Yeah. So we're trying to find different ways, but
it'll come.
Yeah, it's your small teething issues. It's not the end of the world if you got to do something a little bit different than traditionally,
Well, look, I still use the Zomo Strong foil. I have no issue foiling the bowl just beforehand. It doesn't take any more time. It's just taking a backward step. But it actually doesn't take any more time.
No, it doesn't take any more time. Whether you do it before or after, it's the same thing. So it doesn't really matter. But if the product is different in nature for the Australian market, because it totally caters for our laws, if that's what we have to do, then so be it. Do you know what I mean? Just because it's a little bit different doesn't make it bad or, completely abstract.
No.
If it's still delivering a session, how's your bowl right now?
Oh, it's fantastic. And just for the viewers, got the double apple. I came in here expecting to smoke maybe a citrusy flavor like I normally do. I'm like, you know what? Andy pulled out all the flavors, and I'm like, I saw the double apple just sitting there, and it's like, it's got to be double apple.
It's got to be double apple.
This double apple with a bit of creamy apple as well. It is the best double apple I have ever smoked in my life. It smells like Nakhla.
Yeah.
But it doesn't smoke like nothing. It's
Oh,
just
man.
so
It's
creamy.
clean.
Oh, it's the best.
It's clean. There's not a lot of stuff in the tobacco products. They don't add a lot of like
Yeah.
starch and sugar.
Yeah.
It's a lot of real raw products. So the flavor's always clean, not much head spins, and it's just
100%.
enjoyable, flavorful smoke.
Yeah, I love it. What do you have in yours?
I've got 30% cinnamon and 70% double apple. And to the people that I've ever given shit for about double apple, I'm sorry.
Yeah, for a long time you were saying that double apple is your most hated flavor.
Man, I've got the flavor review dropping later on this week. And
What a turn of events.
man, I remember
The plot
telling
twist.
like people coming in and they're like, "Oh, I only like double apple," and I used to just give them a bit of shit about double apple because I'm like, of all the flavors
Yeah.
in the world, it's double apple and it's got no apple. Like, tell me about that, you know?
And now I'm at a point where I even told Andy just before we started recording, I'm like, I think I'm gonna, after smoking this, man, I think I've got to be a full-time double apple smoker.
Oh man, I've got customers who've mixed it with iced bonbons, a bit of banana with double apple,
That will go
and
well.
and they reckon that went really well.
I think any creamy flavor will
Yeah.
go perfectly with double apple.
Oh man,
Absolutely.
double apple and cinnamon, that is a goat mix,
Yeah.
man. That's got to be top 5 mixes so far. But
I love it.
yeah. So where were we? He showed me how to mix it, and then I started packing the bowls, and then I pulled out an Excel spreadsheet, and I named every single one of his flavors. He's got 80 flavors, and I think there's 15 in development at the moment. So it's already like growing rapidly because of like his customization offers. And then I'm like, hey, this flavor, can we do this flavor? And he's like, Andrew, we can do whatever flavor you want. So to me as well, that's just a huge bonus because however creative I want to get, we can execute in a flavor.
Yeah.
So he's got 80 flavors. I pull out an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm a very OCD when it comes to this. I named every single flavor profile, and I said to Ryan, I'm like, look, I need to try every single one of your flavors because if a customer comes in and he's like, I had dragon fruit recently. What do you have? I need to know that we have it, what it tastes like.
Yeah.
So when I give them our menu of flavors, it already says what it tastes like. They can smell it, and I can give them recommended mixes with it. So I started logging in everything. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to use the same shisha, the same coals, the same head. So that way all the results are the same. And I'm going to record how long I get based on each flavor.
Yeah.
So that way, and then I could see
Like a science experiment.
yeah, I could see through all the flavors, like the consistent amount of time that I was getting. And consistently, I was getting between like 95 minutes. So you're talking an hour 35 to about 2 hours 10, 2 hours 15 religiously.
If you're getting 2 hours 10, then that's going on the line, I guess, if you're looking at it objectively, it's a performance brand then.
That's a performance brand.
yeah.
That's good value for money. Now, there's a lot of brands in the market. I'm not saying like this is the only brand that you should experiment with, but for the price you're paying, for how often you can get it,
Yeah.
and the amount of flavors you can get, it's honestly a no-brainer, man.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I've got my brother-in-law and father-in-law every Tuesday night who will message me and call me before we have dinner to bring the shisha and bring tobacco flavors so that they can try full Italian blood.
That's the best.
Going crazy for the shisha stuff, you know what I mean? So
Manja.
that definitely tells me something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that we're onto something. So yeah, we get Ryan. Ryan shows me how to pack it. I do the Excel spreadsheet, and then I'm then talking to Andrew, and I'm like, look, I know we've been trying to get this license for ages. It seems like it's going round and round. I don't know, like I can't even predict, because I'm the one leading the research and doing all the homework, how this is going to come to fruition. I go, but what if Ryan's already got a brand? He's changed the formula now. Now you don't have to do any mixing. There's no requirements for you as the customer. What if we just leveraged off his brand, partnered up with him, and pushed it to the market? Because because eventually he helped us get the license. So we've got the license to do what he does.
Yeah.
But when he's like,
you've got it.
we've got it. We've got it. Yeah. He
Awesome.
actually came, like he helped us out. He's a fucking champion. He's an absolute champion. I love him. He helped us how to get it. But then he's like, do you want to see how I do it? And I'm like, fucking oath, man. Yo, you got the candy shop experience. Now you're going to show me how Willy Wonka makes his candy? Fucking oath, you know? Go to the back, and he's like, first you do this and you do this. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, oh. I started like recognizing that it's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's not as simple as I made it out in my head.
Okay.
And when I understood Ryan's like long lineage of tobacco and how tobacco has been in his family, like it's the same thing that I explained in that video, where like if your grandfather's an accountant, your dad's an accountant, you're an accountant is in your DNA.
Yeah.
For Ryan, like the background around manufacturing, procuring, growing tobacco, that's in his blood, man.
Yeah.
So the stuff that he's going to know is going to be unmatched and unparalleled no matter how hard I study it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because he's born in it.
Yeah.
He's born in it. So rather than us trying to take a brand, because we got the license now, I was thinking, I just had a light bulb moment. I'm like, we have to build the brand. We've got to build the flavors, the branding, the packaging. We've got to spend tens of thousands of dollars. You know, you got to get product liability insurance. That's going to cost you $100,000. There's a lot of money that's going to go into this thing.
Yeah.
Why do that when we can push this brand?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the brand.
Yeah.
It just needed a few little tweaks. Needed to change the formula, work out how to pack it, and I'm getting consistent sessions.
Yeah.
And before we announced the partnership, like my family was trying it, and I used to come home and people would be like, "You smell like lollies. Have you been eating lollies?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I've been dieting hard, man. I haven't been eating any lollies." And that just got me thinking. I'm like, okay, so the smell smells great, the clouds are great, the flavor's great. Why target a small portion of the market trying to be so niche when I can target everyone? Do you know what I mean? It's a blonde leaf. Usually that's your 70-80% of the market anyway.
Yeah, because initially you could say that you were geared towards more the enthusiast market. But and we had conversation in the shop before. The enthusiast market doesn't take up the majority of the market. The casual market does, which is then more for blonde leaf anyway.
100%.
Yeah.
I was reading it was like some international article, and it was about like tobacco in a sense of the entire world, the global scale, what the global scale consumes. And the global scale consumes 500,000 tons of tobacco every single year.
It's nuts. 500,000
tons. That's huge, man.
Yeah.
But the shisha industry is not even a percentage of that. The shisha industry might be like 50%, like 0.5%.
Yeah.
0.5% of that 1% of that total global scale is shisha.
That's nuts.
Which is already niche if you think about it. Then like take the dark leaf part of the market. Dark leaf part of the market is again like maybe your 10-15% of the market that enjoy that heavy dose of nicotine and flavor mixed together.
Yeah.
Majority of your market is still the 70-80% who are smoking the red dye stuff and the blonde leaf.
Yeah.
And for us, it was like a sort of like a parallel shift, because we're like, okay, well, instead of catering for the 15%, how do we cater for the 85%? It's a bigger market.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? If we got a product that delivers and caters for the majority, like why would we not?
Yeah.
Go for it. So after we had multiple, you know, me and Andrew were just sitting there and talking, I'm like, it's better for us just to leverage what's already here, because the product's ready to go to the market. The product is already in the market. He's already got customers. He's already got his like marquee flavors.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been like, that's pretty much the story of like how we all got here. So rather than us, well, we got the license anyway. I don't think like it's there. If we want to do anything with it, we can.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy with the product that's around my neck right now.
Yes.
It's something, since I've learned more about tobacco, it's been literally the only brand that I've been enjoying.
Yeah.
I'll go rid of everything.
Yeah. And that's the same, and especially when I'm smoking with my brother, the E-Man. I packed him a orange and lemon, icy lemon once, and he's just like, this is 10 out of 10. And it's not so much that it's like, when you compare it to other brands like Eternal Smoke, it's not to say that it hits exactly the same, but it hits the points that you need it to hit for a casual smoker.
Yeah.
You don't get the headaches. You don't get the head spin, because I don't think everyone really wants a head spin. I think that's a bit outdated now.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to sit back, have a nice strong flavor, which this provides, and get a nice 90-minute session. But a lot of people don't want to smoke for 2.5 hours anyway.
No, for me, if I'm getting 90 minutes to 2 hours, that's like that's
same.
money for me, bro. I don't have time to sit for 3-4 hours and do nothing for it. If I'm getting, even for me as an avid shisha like lover, if I'm getting that 90 minutes to 2 hours, I'm so content with that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I can just pack another bowl. I'm not really fixated on getting 60
say.
minutes of extra like clouds on 20% flavor. Like that doesn't really mean anything to me.
Yeah, 100%. And one question I want to ask you: you've brought this up on your Instagram previously when you brought this product to market, because obviously this is the only product that you're stocking now. What was the gap that you had filled with this by bringing this product?
Easy, yeah, easy. So what I used to have in my rotation, the two flavors that were unconditionally I need to have in the collection was cane mint and peppermint shake.
Yes.
If one of those two go out of stock, I freak out, man, because I know the scarcity of it all. I know like you're playing fucking hide and go seek and you're trying to find this flavor. It's not about even paying for it. It's about finding it and locating it.
Yeah.
So for me, I reached out through the grapevine, through all these different channels. No, I don't have. Oh, I'll have in a couple of weeks. Yada yada yada. And then one guy's like, one of my mates has one. He's like, but he wants top dollar for it. And I'm like, well, how much does he want?
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, he probably wants 220. And I'm like, fuck, man, 220,
250 grams.
250 grams, blonde leaf. It's pricey, bro. But anyway, I went there. He was happy to drop $10, and I'm like, you know what? I actually don't give a fuck what the price is. I want it. I'll get it. I'll take it. You know what I mean? So I met up with him. I got it. I opened up the tub, just gave it a small whiff. I didn't notice anything different about it at first. I just had a long, big fucking inhale. You know how that is, man. For your favorite flavors, that's what we all do. Jumped in my ute, chucked the tub on the driver's seat, and I was heading to work. And I'm like, this is gonna be a hectic day. I've got peppermint shake. I've got enough cane mint to last me, at least another 2-3 months. And then I'll do cane mint, peppermint shake, and then I'll add an extra flavor in. Call it pineapple, call it fucking apple, whatever, watermelon. Like just that as a triage of flavors.
Yes.
I go back to the shop. I open up the tub, take the packet out. I noticed the smell straight away was like it was a little bit faint.
Yep.
It was not so much on the creamier side. It was just minty.
It didn't pack the punch that you're normally used to.
It's normally like when you open it and you smell it, it normally just fills up your entire nostrils with beautiful flavor. And it didn't have that, but...
For anyone that has hay fever like myself, that's a perfect remedy.
Yeah, man.
Leave the
Anything dark leaf,
side.
man. Anything minty will clear your sinuses. So if you've got a blocked nose, just smell some dark leaf. So I come back to the shop. I get excited. Empty the tub, put it in my system, a container, give it all a mix, and I'm like, all right, it's ready for a bowl. Let's go. You know what I mean? So I get my ratios right, put my peppermint shake in. At the time, I was having cane mint, peppermint shake. I think I might have been mixing some dark side pineapple pulse. I think I was mixing those three together. And normally the creaminess of the peppermint shake complements the pineapple. So you almost get like a pineapple and cream sort of taste with a nice kick.
Smoothie, like a little smoothie.
Nice kick at the end.
Yeah.
But when I tried, packed it how I usually pack it, religious about my setup. You've seen how long it took me to set up the bowls today.
It's the best. It's like a poetry in motion.
Yeah, I just gotta take my time and do it because I know I'll get the results I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I put the coals on, I took a few drags, I could taste the pineapple, had a nice kick. There was no creaminess to it. It was more minty than anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's just first time, I don't know how
maybe
long.
Didn't mix
I don't know. Maybe didn't mix it properly. Maybe I didn't get the juice in there because I know the tobacco leaf carries no flavor. It's just in the juice itself. Maybe I didn't mix it. Maybe I just took off the top. Then I decided to do like just a half and half. Get rid of the cane mint. Let's see if we can taste the peppermint shake.
Yeah.
And at that time, I mixed it with watermelon wholes from Element. So it's just watermelon ice, peppermint shake. At that time as well, no cream taste. There's a very faint peppermint taste. And, to me, I'm a little bit upset because I paid $210 to this guy that I don't know. He told me it was fresh stock because I remember hitting him up and I said, bro, how old is this? Like, I think when flavor sits there for too long, especially with flavors that don't have like production dates on it, you don't know how old it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't know how old it is.
That's the risk you run, I guess.
That's the risk you run. Yeah. Yeah. You know what it is when you're buying these flavors. You know the risk you're playing, but there's not much anything else that can govern it. You know what I mean? It's not like I could go back to the guy and be like, hey, the flavors are died, give me a new one, because we all know how he gets it. And at the time he's like, oh, I'll get you some for your shop. And I'm like, yeah, bro, look, let me just see how it goes. You know what I mean? Like the price fluctuations will also gets me going. You know what I mean? Like I'll get a little bit passionate about it, but if I want the product, I want the product. You know what I mean? It's just supply and demand. So in my eyes, this happened like maybe 3 months before I met Ryan, but it was just something that I just became upset about because even when I was smoking and I was telling customers about it, they're like, oh, I'll buy it off you. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a dud. You know what I mean? If you buy it, it's going to be shit because I know it's shit and then you're going to trash the name. I don't need you to trash the name. You know what I mean? I'd rather just put it in the bin. That's probably the best place for it.
Yeah, I agree.
So the prices are fluctuating. Can't guarantee that. I can't guarantee freshness.
Yeah.
And the hunt to always find flavors is every shisha lover's worst nightmare.
Yes.
I can't tell you the amount of guys who will call me up and be like, do you have this and this and this by this brand?
Line lit.
Yeah, do you have do you have this and this by this brand? I'm like,
please, Andy, if you get it in, please put one on the side.
I'm not sure when these things are going to come in because like the supply chain, and the thing is you have different people selling it to you every single time. And some of the times you don't know these people. You don't know where it's come from. Like it even got to the stage, man, where we bought some Adalia off someone Only later realized it was fake.
Yes.
Tried to call the guy back. Blocks my number.
Yeah.
What do I do with it? All that leftover stuff. And Andrew's like, what do you want to do with it? And I go, bro, there's one place for this, and it's the bin. It's the bin. I'm not trashing our reputation to make $1. It's not worth it.
Absolutely not.
It's not worth it. So these
customer
were
for a lifetime better than the customer for a day, as you said.
Customer for a lifetime as opposed to a customer for a day. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like, because how many times have you gone to shops in the past and you bought something that was bad?
And you're just like, oh, man.
But with anything, not even with shisha,
Yeah.
with anything, you bought shoes that failed. That shop is something that you will never go back to again. So for me, it was just something like, it was just three things. And then when we started talking to Ryan from Tabaku, it literally hits those 3 pain points for us in one beautiful hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to go about sourcing any other brand because we already have it that we've already partnered up with. He's got unlimited stock.
Oh yeah.
He can customize flavors. I've got a customer.
My favorite part about
I've got a customer who wanted a sneakers flavor. So Ryan, Snickers. Oh, sorry, Snickers.
I mean,
Yeah, what, shoe flavor? Yeah,
Jordan's Air Jordan
Foot
flavor.
Odor or some shit. Yeah. Wanted a Snickers flavor.
Yeah.
Ryan breaks his diet to eat Snickers, so
he's
he
on
can
keto.
flavor profile. He's
Yeah.
doing a keto diet.
Yeah.
It's funny, whenever he's trying to profile like the exact thing he wants to replicate, he eats it and then he just documents. He just writes down notes like a madman.
Yeah.
And now there's a Snickers flavor.
Yeah.
So I can customize flavors. I have unlimited supply. It's always fresh.
Yes.
And because there's no brand, because it's built in Australia,
Yes.
there's no fakes.
100%. It's all here. It's manufactured here. You know what you're getting every time. You know it's 100% genuine. And speaking to Ryan, it's the highest grade German blonde leaf that you can possibly get.
That you can possibly procure.
Yes.
So he sourced the best because the tobacco tax is extremely high. It's the highest in the world for tobacco taxes. Unfortunately, Australia, that's just the reality. It's not going to change. I'm pretty sure it went up recently. It went up by an extra $20 a kilo. It went up
$20. And it's going to keep climbing.
She's going to keep climbing. You know, it's not as big as the massive jumps, the 12.5% jumps that the cigarette industry faced.
Yeah.
We faced it as well, but it's still climbing. It's still climbing. So for him, when he was sourcing the product, I'm very certain, and I'm just paraphrasing. It's probably better you just get him on here because he's the guy with the knowledge. I'm just paraphrasing here. In Germany, there's 2 types of like tobacco that you can source. You've got high grade Rolls Royce, the fucking bees, motherfucking knees of tobacco, and that costs you €30 a kilo.
Yep.
Or you can buy the opposite end, which is everything the opposite of what I just described, and that'll cost you €1 per kilo.
Yeah.
But in order for you to get top tier Rolls Royce, you have to be one of 20 applications, and Ryan's family have one.
Yeah.
So because the tobacco tax is so high, why would he sacrifice the quality of brand if the tax is what the tax is already?
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? So in his eyes, he's like, well, I'm going to source the best if the tax is already what it is. Like, what's an extra €30 on top of, $17.50 per kilo? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, he's got the best. He is the best. And man, the customers are loving the brand, bro. Yeah. The feedback we're getting is phenomenal, man. Yeah. Phenomenal. I think we sold close to 28 kilos in the first month. So that's 280 packets sold. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's only going to get bigger and bigger.
100%. And the great thing about him using that high quality grade 1 German blonde leaf, which is flue-cured Virginia leaf, because one of the big misconceptions about this brand is they're just pumping vape juice in here. You can't have a product take 24 hours to mix and then it's ready to smoke. It's a process, but it's because he is using that higher quality German blonde leaf. That's why it does take 24 hours because of the absorption rate. Again, paraphrasing Ryan.
Definitely get Ryan on board to paraphrase that and go deeper on it. Yeah. But touching on what you just said, like the leaf is great, and 24 hours to 48 hours. There's a lot of misconceptions that it's got to be fake or whatever terminology people are using these days. However, you've got someone who's 3 generations born in the tobacco game. You are going up against a behemoth of knowledge that you're like, you know what I mean? That what people are saying, you know? This guy has got knowledge in the game, bro. He knows it like no one else knows it.
It runs through his blood.
The information he's told me is stuff you can't even find on the internet.
Yeah.
So that, like, tell me about insider, like trader secrets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's got stuff no one else knows. And to me, it was just all my checkbook boxes lined up in a row that I didn't know I had that when we had originally talked, I'm like, man, oh man, this guy's like a giant. He's a sleeping giant. No, everyone's underestimated him, and I'm really excited that we've partnered.
Yes.
And man, like, because he's like wants to get his brand out there, like we've got the taste nights happening every fortnight.
Yep, we're gonna start touching on that soon. Yeah.
Sam, thank you to Sam from Sunday Smoke for giving me your time and your energy and your efforts for helping us out. It's been, really want to say thank you.
No, you're welcome.
But we do the taste nights once a fortnight. I put on 5 flavors, 5 shishas, free event. People take home free samples.
Yeah.
And I always get people saying no one else is doing something like this out there. You're the only one I know who's doing stuff like this. And I'm like, I am pro for you guys. Do you know what I mean? Because when I first met Ryan and he's like, this is my flavor list, I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah,
if I go to a cafe and there's 30 items on the menu, I'm going to be at least 25 minutes. I have to read everything, go to Instagram, check pictures. You know what I mean? I got to see what people are raving on about. You know what I mean? Like if my wife sends me to Bunnings to get an ironing board and I go to the ironing board aisle, there's like 9 different variations.
Yeah.
I've got like to make a decision is difficult. So
100%.
That's how the nights got formulated, because I'm like, well, let's get people just to try them.
Well, yeah, because with that many flavors, it's good to have a free event where people just come in. They might try flavors that they might not even think to even try, because there's that many and there's that many options. People just tend to stick to what they know.
Yeah.
But these nights give people an opportunity to come in, and it doesn't mean that they're gonna like a flavor like, let's say, creamy orange, for example. Maybe people don't like the creamy orange, but some people might, and they might be like, "Whoa, this is awesome."
I think it gives you an opportunity to work out what you do like and you don't like.
100%.
So that way you're not like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a shop, blind bought a flavor, had a bowl and just absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
And that's because I was curious, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would rather have people come in and buy the flavors that they do want.
Yes.
That way they're more satisfied with their purchases instead of buying like a random pear, pineapple and ice and just hating it. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how was the reception been to these tasting nights?
It's been crazy. The first night we had like 55 people walk through the door. You remember, man, the showroom was incredibly smoky. I don't know how smoky it's getting right now.
It was like someone just threw a smoke grenade in there.
Yeah, just put like a full-time smoky. We had to open up the door. And I remember someone was like, open up the door just to get some fresh air.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's do that. I'm okay to hotbox it. Let's do it, you know? And one of the guys that was helping us, Ronnie, shout out to Big Rons, he's like, go outside and have a look how much smoke is coming through the door.
Yeah.
And you go outside, man, it's like this, like a smoke machine is aimed at the door and it's just like punching out. But it was awesome. I think like, because we had the 5 shishas going. At the time we had it just on the table. Like eventually we innovated and put a table this way. So that way people can try around here. Yeah. Doesn't clog up the cash register. And it was just non-stop, man. I remember people, because I wanted to greet everyone that came in because it was the first time we did it and they're showing their support. They're taking time out of their schedules. Even though the event's for them, it still takes a lot of effort, and I don't want to like let that effort not go to waste. You know what I mean? I want to go there and say thank you for coming. You know what I mean? Right. Like
taking the time out.
But it got to the point where it was so smoky that I didn't even see people walk through the doors. Only when they appeared, I'm like, oh, there's 3 new people. I'm gonna go say hello. You know? And every single fortnight's been great. The recent one we did, there was a lot of people loved creamy orange, which was really, really surprising because I know people either love orange or hate orange. And the other flavor they were enjoying was grapefruit just by itself.
That was, again, like I'm not just tooting horns. I'm not just tooting horns here by saying, oh, this is the best double apple ever. This is the best. This is the best that. I said this about 10 times that night to any new person that walked in. I'm like, try this grapefruit, because for years I've been trying to find a good grapefruit. Yeah. It's so hard to find, and every grapefruit I've tried has just been like, not really, it's not it. Yeah. That grapefruit, I would smoke it on its own.
Oh man, like there's so many flavors where he has the base flavors by themselves that I'm really surprised about. And you know what? He's got 80 flavors. Yeah. There's a few of them that I don't like, you know what I mean? Just because of the way they taste, they're probably not for my palate. But for me, like, I tried a recent flavor. I didn't like it, but another customer smelt it, bought it, and he can't stop buying it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So everyone's going to have a different taste palette, and not all the flavors are good, but a lot of them are fucking amazing. Yeah. Oh my God, the double apple, man.
Creamy apple. I remember the first night, the first tasting night when we came down. Creamy apple was just was off its tits.
Off its head.
Like honestly.
Off its head.
The second tasting night, I think some guy came in and bought like nine 900 gram packets just like that.
Creamy
Straight
apple was like, what do you got in stock? Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. And then I was telling customers, like, because we have all the flavors out here for everyone to smell, and like all these guys are going crazy. They're like, there's too many options. I don't know what to do. And I go, man, listen, we'll always have stock.
Yes.
This is not an issue of like I'm running out and I don't know when I'm going to get it anymore.
Yeah.
We're always going to have stock.
Yeah.
And you just have to see these people like take a sign of relief, because I think for as long as I can remember in the market, like take peppermint shake.
Yeah.
You only have a few. Once they're gone, I don't even know when they come back. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
right. That's the problem.
But-
even if they do come back, how fresh is it? Like
you don't know.
Before,
You don't know.
just don't know.
You don't know. So when there's 9 creamy apples sold and someone's like, I want creamy apple, I'm like, well, don't worry, I'll have some on Friday.
Yeah.
If you want to pay for it now, I can just deliver it for you, and I'm happy for that, because we'll always have stock.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it makes me genuinely happy because I can give my customers what they are seeking consistently, fresh, clean,
100%.
and unlimited flavors.
Yes.
So it's honestly awesome. But the flavor test nights have been awesome. The next one is so this episode's coming this Sunday.
Well, yeah. So this will be the day after the next.
The day after. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the next one will be yesterday if you're watching this. But
the next one will be yesterday.
Yeah, we've got 5 flavors.
It was a great night. It was a
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it's a great night. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be throughout the day. We had so many people. I can't tell you how many people called the show and be like, "Oh, can't you do it on the weekend? You know, I've got kids. I got this. It's hard for me to get out." I did it on Wednesday night because I just thought it's midweek. People wouldn't have anything on a Wednesday night to duck out for 20, 30 minutes and away you go.
Yeah.
But this week we've got 5 flavors. We've got blue haze, strawberry banana ice lemon. That was a fan favorite from the first night. Then we got 2 unreleased flavor. The first one is orange and mint. Surprisingly, we don't have an orange and mint. So this is big we're catering for the majority of the market. So orange and mint will be showcased. And the last one is dirty pina colada.
Dirty pina colada. Tell us about that one.
That's a pineapple and cola.
Yeah.
Infused. Yeah. It smells ridiculous.
And for anyone that's been following if they're on the Facebook page, which we'll touch on shortly, cola has been going off its head.
Unbelievable.
The reception to cola, and even from my brother, everything is just like, oh, could you throw some cola in there? Cola this, cola that. Everything is just cola.
Cola, yeah.
It's fantastic.
Cola
and
with
what
some
I like
citrus.
about it is that it's so diverse, because the cola flavor, if you have it by itself, it tastes like the cola lollies, those little lollies that you get.
Haribo cola.
But then you put a bit of, like, let's say some Sub-Zero, and you got a super duper. It's like, that's so good. It's awesome. I love it. Perfect for the summer. So you got your winter cola, you got your summer cola.
That is awesome. I like that. Yeah, super duper. Yeah, that's
Super
crazy.
duper
Crazy. A lot of the tastes, like in the flavors that I have, are either lollies or chocolate or anything. Like I just got a bigger sweet tooth as a kid, so everything is like lollies, ice cream. Interpretations. But that's awesome. Cola, super duper. I like that. I like that. So then. Okay, so we've got the taste nights. That's for the community. That's for them to try the flavors. They're coming together. I think the most beautiful thing about it is people are coming here and you're seeing people from 2 different walks of life. And for me, I can retain knowledge. I've got like an eidetic memory. So I can remember everything you and I have ever spoken about. I can recall it whenever I want.
Yeah.
And I know these guys both have a car passion. And I know fuck all about cars.
Yeah, same.
Someone mentions a 5.7, 3 Elemental P, fucking all these letters and shit. Yeah, you've lost me. You lost me. But I know these guys are car guys. And then I'm like, Joe, don't you have like a racing car?
There you go.
And then that's it. These guys just kick off a conversation. They're exchanging socials at the end of it. And then to see these guys interact on the Facebook community that we've created now, that to me is beautiful, man, because you're literally building a strong foundation community around your brand.
Yeah.
But that Facebook group, we actually give away monthly prizes, Sam.
Yeah.
Monthly prizes to the most active members.
That's right.
Most active members get free flavor, free samples, whatever their hearts can contain.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I'm like, all right, Ryan, these are the 5 guys who won this month. And Ryan's like, I'm going to throw in an extra bowl for them. So they got a bowl and flavor for participating in the group.
That's the best.
Who does that?
No.
No one does
but
it.
like that's the best. And like that's what's been good about the Facebook page, which we'll go into depth on in a minute. And the tasting nights is just bringing people together, and which is what me and Jackson we talk about on this podcast when we talk about shisha. That's what it's all about. It's about bringing people together, having conversations. You're bringing people that haven't met each other before, even from myself. Meeting these people that are on the Facebook group for the first time. You see them on the message boards and everything, but then you meet them in person. You see like everyone's just so genuine, so friendly. You just talking the whole time and the vibe's going good. You got music in the background. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
And it resonates with everyone. I think that's why you see, there were a lot of people on the second tasting night. You saw some familiar faces.
Yeah.
But then you also see some new faces.
Some new faces,
and
yeah.
those new faces will then become familiar faces.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to grow even more. Like we're already talking about taste night number 4. So every month it's going to be one on a weekend to cater for the people who want to come on a weekend.
That's the bit, yeah.
And then
Fantastic.
the second half of the month will be at night time for the people who can come at night. Because people might be working on Saturdays. There's, ebbs and flows for everything.
Everyone's got
We're happy
schedules.
to cater for everyone.
Yes.
But the Facebook group, we created that just to create a community around the brand.
Yeah.
So for us, our goal is to get more brand awareness out there.
Yeah.
And because there's so many flavors and there's so many mixes, like what if we could just have a page where people just post their mixes galore? And you look at the Facebook group and every day there's a new combination. Like I tried creamy orange and cinnamon from Costa.
Yeah.
He was one of
Shout
out to Big Costa. Yeah, he was
guy's
one of the winners from last month. He actually came first. I checked the top 5.
Yeah.
But he said he goes, try it. He goes, it should taste like an orange cake. He goes, us Greeks have this orange cake on New Year's Eve, and it's something we religiously have.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, bro. I'll give it a go. It's actually awesome. I loved it. Yeah. That creamy orange and cinnamon. Why not, man?
That's it, man.
It actually goes down really well.
You even see there's some goofy mixes on there too that you wouldn't even think to be like, oh.
Another customer, Christopher. Big shout out to Christopher. He told me strawberry tea with ice cream apple.
Yep. Okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's the best.
Do it 70-30 and then you can flip the ratio.
70. Oh yeah.
70 strawberry tea and ice cream apple, or you can flip it depending on what you want to favor more of. But unbelievable, and I wouldn't have thought strawberry and apple to go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's awesome. But shout out to everyone that's on the Facebook group. I'm one of the moderators on the Facebook group too. And just for reference, I'm going to leave a link in the description for anyone that does want to. I'll leave an invite link for anyone that does want to join and get amongst it. Yeah. But what's the Facebook group called?
It's called Hookah Haus X Tabaku's Inner Circle.
Yes,
it's the Inner Circle.
The Inner Circle.
The Inner Circle, yeah. If you want to join, you can post about absolutely anything you want to. There's no discrepancies on brands.
100%.
The big thing is just to post your mixes because one of your secret mixes that you enjoy might be someone else's next favorite thing.
That's right. And that's what it's about because when you first started the page, we had our WhatsApp group with all the moderators, everything. We were discussing how we're going to bring this to life. And the one thing that was a common consensus amongst everyone was like, let's not make this a cult just specifically for tobacco. You can only talk about tobacco. That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about bringing together everything. Yeah. It's just like the tasting nights, bringing together different communities together. Yeah. The same thing can be said for tobacco and Eternal Smoke and Trifecta and everything. Yeah. Like, try everything. Throw your mix in. You like Trifecta? Keep smoking Trifecta. Try it with a bit of tobacco. Yeah. Or even if you just want to post something that's not even tobacco related. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. Because it's pro community. I'm not expecting everyone to be just avid, loved tobacco smokers, even though we're starting to generate so many people that are just like that. I get guys who call me and I know who his voice is and I'm like, it's a side for you, don't worry.
Yeah.
Do but mix it up. Like Ryan's like, all right, Andrew, I want you to try it with different dark leaf brands. And I'm like, I've had tobacco every day for 4 months, man. I don't think I'm ready for a dark leaf. I think I flushed it all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a versatile brand. It's so flavorful and you can literally mix it with anything.
Well, that's it. And I think that for a lot of people, as I said before, we want people to enjoy every brand, everything. But you'll see on the posts, people are just naturally resonating with tobacco. They just keep smoking it, even though they don't have to.
Yeah, no,
everyone's
they don't
making a decision, being like, this is actually a good product. Otherwise, no one would smoke it.
No, of course.
That's the difference. That's the key. That's why it is a good product.
If people are enjoying it, 280 packets sold in the first month. I think that's enough of a statement to say that it's here to stay.
Yeah,
it's only going to keep evolving.
Yes.
Even like Ryan's like, what's the number one flavor you want us to have a spin on? I'm like, peppermint shake.
Yes.
And so that's at version 5 now, but in the process of us making that, we've created vanilla milkshake, coconut milkshake, strawberry milkshake, and peppermint shake. So off one flavor, you've birthed 3 new flavors.
That's right.
So it's only going to keep growing. It's only going to keep growing. And I always tell customers, like what's your fantasy for a flavor? Because that can be created or mixed.
Yeah.
Sneakers flavor. Oh, man, he's got a flavor called cookie. It tastes like a fresh Subway cookie, man.
Yeah.
It is unreal, man.
That's mad.
It is unreal.
I heard from, I believe it was Costa. I believe that they're a bouncy flavor. That's coming out soon. I love a good bounty. Oh my god,
Man.
a nice king size bounty.
Oh man, that
that's-
slaps, man.
Yeah.
That's a kryptonite of mine, chocolate.
Yeah.
But just got to stick to the diet, man. Going strong.
Oh man, but you know what? Respect to Ryan. You mentioned this before. He was on a keto diet, and he
broke his diet.
He broke his diet to try some Snickers so he can get the flavor down. That is what I call commitment.
That's commitment. Man. That's
fantastic.
commitment. Yeah, that's commitment. The cool thing is like when you see him like take down notes afterwards about like
Yeah.
he's got a very acute sense of smell and taste.
Yeah.
Even like for peppermint shake, I had to give him a bit of my dud one.
Yeah.
To try it, and I'm like, look, it's probably better if we can get someone else who's got a good batch for you to work out what the taste like. So big shout out to Stuart, our other moderate.
Shout out Stewie.
Big shout out to you, Stewie. He actually dropped everything. I'm like, bro, have you got peppermint shake? He's like, yeah, I've got like 30 grams left. I go, can you drop it off to Ryan? And he goes, yeah, I'll do it now.
Mad.
What a champion!
Solid.
Thanks, Stuart. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's honestly unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And for anyone that's watching now, what I like about Ryan is that he always gives you the time of the day. I remember when you told me about this product. You told me what it was coming to your market. That's all you're going to be selling. I'm like, all right, I got to meet this guy. I got to meet this guy Ryan because you spoke so highly of him. I was there for like a good 2 hours. And he explained everything. He gave me the time of the day. He was out in the back. He's probably taking time out of his busy schedule. So for anyone that's watching, if you have any questions, just hit him up. Go to his shop in Rydalmere. You'll find it. I'll leave a link in there to his website. Go there. He will give you the time of the day if you have any questions. And and I guarantee he'll make you some kind of mix.
he'll probably give you a sample. You won't leave empty-handed.
Yeah.
But he's a gentleman, and like the first time now that I can recall it, it's come back to my memory now. Yeah. First time I was there, I said I had 2 hours to spare. I was there for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
It was on a Tuesday. On Tuesday, I normally leave to run my other businesses.
Yeah.
I was late for every consequential meeting that I had booked that day because of it. But when I left there, I'm like, there's something here.
Yeah.
And now it's actually come to full-blown fruition.
That's it.
And I'm so excited for the next 12 months,
That's it. Who knows where it's going to take you? Where do you see it going? Between now and the next 12 months, are there going to be, like, for example, is there going to be a dark leaf coming to market?
So Ryan has already sourced. He already has a great dark leaf. It's a burley leaf.
Yeah.
So it is quite high in strength.
Yes.
It's only out as dark mint, but he's got a full line of dark leaf flavors that we've already chosen to come to the market.
Yeah.
His German blonde leaf right now that we're enjoying is a very smooth line.
Yeah.
So we're looking at something that's a bit more intermediate in terms of strength.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be smooth. That's your base.
Yeah.
There'll be something in between. We're still in the process of sourcing it. And then he'll have his dark leaf. And his dark mint, I kid you not, I cannot have more than 10, 20% because it packs a punch, man. It is a punch for burley. But yeah, there is dark leaf. There's a lot of plans for different flavors. And I think the big thing in the next 12 months will be to push the brand, push it out. Who knows, we might do an international tasting. I've got guys in Queensland being like, what about us? I'm like, catch a train down or something, man.
Yeah.
But who knows? We might be able to do something like that. Maybe some in Melbourne, like who knows? But the big thing for us in the next 12 months is to really showcase everyone the performance of what the brand is. And I think the cool thing is I hope people come to the shop and they're like, I've been working for the last 3 months straight and all I can think about is having a shisha, and you're the first person that I called. What flavors have you got? Yeah. And I'm like, you haven't been on Instagram lately? And he goes, no. I'm like, let me tell you about this brand that I just got.
Yeah.
It's Australian. It's consistent. I've got 80 flavors. I've got 35 in stock. You can smell whatever you like. I can give you a sample. And I've got the flavors always pumping in the shop. So if you ever want to come down, the conversation on the phone was just about like him saying, I'm going to come and see you. He's like, I'll come and see you next week.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'll see you next week. He's having lunch. 2 hours later, he comes up through the door. I know him. His name's Yusuf. Big shout out to Yusuf. He's in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
He walks in with his cousin, his big cousin, and they walk through the door. And I'm like, what are you guys doing here? You said next week you want to come. He's like, bro. I must have G'd this guy up on the phone so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, so you haven't heard anything about this brand. That's cool. I'm like, can you do me a favor? And they're like, what? I'm like, can you turn around? And they're like, why? I'm like, just turn around for dramatic effect. And they're a bit skeptical. I go, don't worry, I'm not going to hit you. No one's going to put water in your face. It's all good. I stack up all the flavors on the counter because we've got them here for people to smell. and they turn around and I've got like leaning on 38 flavors.
Yeah.
They turn around and their eyes are like, like the cartoon where the eyes goes out of there.
Boing.
Boing. Yes, like that. And they just had a field day smelling and trialing, and they brought out a bowl and they're like, can you pack us some flavor to try? And they love it. You know what I mean? They come into the taste day this Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the big thing is just broadening its horizon. Even I remember the other taste night on the first time round, we had someone come in, avid double apple smoker.
Yeah.
Had Nakhla or Al Fakr for years, 8-9 years, been smoking it.
Yeah.
He's telling me that nothing is ever going to come close. Nothing can come close to his favorite double apple flavor. We'll keep all your expectations and your associations with these other brands at the door. Let's just come in here, open-minded, just try it. It's double apple. It was in one of those disposable shishas, so we could get the cleanest flavor for him. He took one drag. Matthew, shout out to Matthew Asser.
Yes.
He took one drag, eyes again, boing. He just kept dragging it, and bro, everyone with the taste night is like trying different flavors.
Yeah.
Some people are going to sit on some flavor, and that's expected.
Yeah.
Matthew did not leave the double apple stand. He was hogging it.
I enjoyed watching him.
Yeah.
We all enjoyed watching him smoke it.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah.
And now he just comes in. I know he walks through the door. I've got a double apple ready for him. He just takes it, and he's happy every single day of the week. So the big thing in the next 12 months is literally building upon people's association with the brand, how to pack it, how to get the most out of your sessions, not having to cut the leaf, don't have to do anything like that, and just getting consistent sessions time and time again.
Yeah. And there's one question that I want to ask before we wrap it up. This applies to obviously your business, but also can apply to anything in life. You mentioned before, because you have your own license, you could have brought your own tobacco to market, but there's obviously a very difficult thing to do, would have taken a lot of time. Just for anyone, there's a point that I want to make. Knowing when to just leave things on the back burner, just let things go and then try something different. And just knowing when to basically put things to an end.
Yeah.
For you, what does that mean to say, all right, we're trying this, we've been trying this for so long, but maybe it's not worth it. Let's go down this avenue instead. Yeah,
great question. I think if you can, I always tell coaching clients that if I can change your perspective on something, I can change your life.
Yeah.
Because I think if you can look at things from a different lens or from a different understanding, separate yourself emotionally from it.
Yeah.
Around, I want to do this, I want to be that, I want to be the king, yada, 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 whatever that looks like. And just like reason with what's in front of you, then I think you will ultimately be successful, because it teaches you how to pivot. It teaches you how to analyze things from a different perspective, and that can make you grateful, that can make you happy, that can bring joy into your life, or from you looking at different things. It's like if I look back at my journey, like as an entrepreneur, in my early 20s, I got defrauded. I lost a shit ton of money. I lost actually everything that I had worked up until, and I had to start again. Right. And this was like right when I was 25. All my friends were buying houses, and for me, that was a process that I was in the process of doing. We found the house, had the loan, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But now when I look back at that moment, because after that moment happened, I hit depression for about 2 years. I didn't really do much or speak to people. I didn't speak to any of my friends. I just went home and hid there. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to be social. I didn't want to talk to anyone. But in those 2 years, in the darkest times of my life, is ultimately when I found my power. So in the darkest times of my life is when I found my true power. Is when I found out, well, hold on, now I need to be better. I need to be stronger. I need to read. I need to consume. I need to level up. I need to work with coaches. I need to work with people who can help me get to the next level. Yeah, I've lost it all, but why can't I regain it? Why can't I? So even in those 2 years, I couldn't change the perspective. I couldn't say that, I couldn't even think straight. It was just that I was an idiot and I'm a fuckwit and I can't do anything to move forward anymore. I fucked myself. Now I've got to start all over again. Like, because of that and looking at it from a different perspective, saying, hang on now I am so grateful that happened to me, because it birthed a different version of me.
That's right.
But it was only because I changed my perspective as to what I was looking at that event, to then realize, well, hold on, this is happening for me, not to me.
Yeah.
So I think perspective, pivoting, they're awesome skills to have as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And to realize that even though our process was to eventually get this license and then getting it, and then instead of going through with it, then just leveraging, that's pivoting. That's perspective. Right. That's changing the frame that you're looking at your life.
Yeah.
And I think for as long as you can change your frame, you'll always be a successful person.
That's it. Because that's the thing. By doing that, you would have learnt a lot as well. So it's not just about going there and saying that you gave up. It's about what you learn along the way, which then you can probably even apply to what you're doing now or in other facets of your life.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Since that moment, like, I remember there was things that I'm like, look, I'm not really good at communication. I'm not really good at talking to people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I felt a little bit awkward or intimidated if I didn't know them.
Yeah.
So these were skills that I had to work on. But if it wasn't for that event happening, like even if I could go back in time, I wouldn't change a single thing because it made me who I am. It made me the person that I am today, the businessman that I am today. And that happened when I was 25. I'm 32 in October.
Yeah.
It's only been 7 years, and there's still my whole life ahead of me because of that moment.
That's right.
But I just changed my perspective on it.
Yeah.
So changing your perspective, changing your lens, being able to pivot, you can conquer and accomplish anything. It's just knowing, feeling in your gut when it's time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like in that 2 years when I was really depressed, I put on a lot of weight. I was at my heaviest. I think I was probably at like 135 kilos. I didn't want to do anything, man. I honestly had given up. I'm like, fuck this. Why do anything? You know what I mean? What's the fucking point?
Feel sorry for yourself.
I had a little pity party.
Yeah.
And the only person that was invited was me. And I just felt sorry for myself for 2 years.
Yeah.
But in that 2 years, towards the end, I started changing the way I thought about things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what got me here today.
That's it. Life's a journey. Learn.
Yeah.
Just keep learning. Keep growing. Keep adapting.
Success is the journey, not the destination.
That's right.
The journey.
That's right. So everyone watching, enjoy the journey. Take it for what it is, and don't throw pity parties.
Yeah, don't feel sorry for yourself. Just keep moving.
Just keep moving.
Just take one step at a time. That's it.
But Andy, again, appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us for your second appearance on the Sunday Smoke podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's good to see where you've grown from the last time that we sat down. Me and Jackson sat down with you, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing where Tabaku takes you and where Hookah Haus goes in the next 12 months and forward.
Beyond. Yeah.
But really appreciate your time.
Anytime, man.
And look, with that said, what's the time for, Andy?
It's time to take the coals off.
Beautiful. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you in 2 weeks.
See you guys.
Thanks everyone for tuning into this week's episode of the Sunday Smoke podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to smash that like button, leave a comment and subscribe.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any audio podcast streaming service, please leave us a review. Also, be sure to follow and contact us on our social media platform. You can find us on Instagram at The Sunday Smoke, and you can catch us on TikTok at The Sunday Smoke Clips.
If those aren't your style and want to keep it old school, hit up our email, thesundaysmoke@gmail.com. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. We'll see you on the next episode of The Sunday Smoke. And with that said, what's the time for, Jackson?
It's time to take the coals off.
Beautiful.